Hello there everyone, and welcome to your weekly MTA plan work video for the Queens Subways and Long Island Railroad for the weekend of Friday, August 3rd, 2018, and lasting until Monday, August 6th, 2018. We have a lot to get into. Of course, the usual subway changes here in Queens, bus detour in Jamaica due to the Jams Festival for the Q30, Q31 bus, and headaches on the Long Island Railroad. A lot to get into, so let's get started, shall we? First up, how's the 7 looking? This Saturday, August 4th, from 5:45 a.m. to 4 p.m., Manhattan-bound trains, 34th Street, Hudson Yard-bound trains, will be skipping the following stops. All the streets listed right here: 69th, 52nd, 46th, 40th, and 33rd Streets, due to track replacement. For service to those stations, you can take the westbound train to 61st Street Woodside or Queensboro Plaza and transfer to an eastbound Flushing train. For service from these stations, you have 2 bus options. You can take the Q32 bus for service and stop at 74th Street Broadway, 61st Street Woodside, or Queensboro Plaza to connecting subway service. Also, the following stops for the Q60 along Queens Boulevard are at 52nd Street, 46th Street, 40th Street, and 33rd Street. I am very happy the MTA has only making this work for exactly 11.5 hours. This will not really impact that many people. I just listed the reason. You have bus service that can accommodate everybody in those areas. If anybody is that desperate to, of course, take the bus, that's what I can recommend. So, please remember that. You will, of course, have your options. You also, of course, and I will quickly mention this, if you want to take an eastbound train at any of the stations that I just listed, you can do that. You have that option. It's only Manhattan bound. So let's say you're at 33rd Street, 40th, 46th, or 52nd Street. You can go to 61st Street, Woodside, and then go to a westbound train. Let's say you are at 69th Street. The good news is you can either walk to 74th Street, Broadway, or take the eastbound train from 69th Street and then connect with subway service over there. So you have a lot of options during this work. I didn't want to add that part in the PowerPoint because then it would be a bit confusing. But the way I'm clarifying it is this is only going to be Manhattan bound. This will not impact any eastbound service to Flushing. So if you want to, let's say, connect from another station eastbound, you will have that option. So please just remember that. But overall, I'm kind of excited about this. And I was mentioning this to John when we did our Belmore Summit. And I'm going to say this again. Andy Byford is paying attention to what's going on with regard to the 7. This is a good example right here. He's already fixing the bridge past 82nd Street, and now they are in the process of replacing the tracks. The tracks need to be replaced because remember, it's an old bridge that's on Roosevelt Avenue and it's also on Queens Boulevard. So I'm going to congratulate Andy Byford again on caring about the 7. This is a good sign. I'm glad they're doing it within a reasonable time frame. So those are just my quick thoughts with regards to the 7 train track replacement project this weekend. And now we're going to move on to the next slide. Right, I just forgot to mention connecting subway service. If I didn't mention it, I'll mention it again. You can take the Q60 at Queensboro Plaza, or you can take Q32 and connect from there. So, just want to clarify that. Woo! No M train, huh? What do we got? Signal modernization? Well, signal improvements. It's pretty much the same thing. But this will begin on Friday, August 3rd at 8:15 p.m. There will be no service between Forest Hill, 71st Avenue, and the Latte Extra Streets. How's the R looking? 11:45 p.m. Friday to 5 a.m. Monday. Forest Hill, 71st Avenue bound R trains will be running express from Queensboro Plaza to Forest Hill, 71st Avenue due to signal modernization. For local service to the stations between Queensboro Plaza and Forest Hill, 71st Avenue, you can take the next westbound train from Forest Hill, 71st Avenue. It's a little bit of inconvenience, but at least the good news is local westbound service will not be impacted. So if you need to get to the Queens Center Mall, you will still have subway service. Just remember, eastbound service past Queensboro Plaza will be impacted due to signal modernization. Let's talk about the big headaches on the E and the F trains. 9:45 p.m. Friday to 5 a.m. Monday. E trains are going to be rerouted in both directions via the F between 21st Street Queensbridge and Lexington Avenue 63rd Street, and via the R between 57th Street and Whitehall, the last stop due to signal improvements. Downtown F trains are going to be rerouted via the E from Roosevelt Avenue to 42nd Street, Port Authority, then via the A to Chase Street Metrotech. Jamaica-bound F trains are going to be rerouted via the E after 42nd 50th Street to Queensboro Plaza. So pretty much, it's going to be a big headache. I don't need to make it confusing. This is how I think I've made it less confusing. You can take the A, C, or F to complete your trip via transfer at Roosevelt Avenue in Queens and or West 4th Street in Manhattan. You have the A, C, and the F trains. For stations between World Trade Center and 7th Avenue, use the A, C, or D trains. Now, this is how I think I'm going to clarify that. Just remember to look at the subway map. Okay? That's what I'm going to recommend you do. Because if you want to go to World Trade and you're reading all this stuff, the best thing I can do is just tell you to read the subway map. Because that's how you're going to be able to get to where you need to go this weekend. What do we got over here as well? 11:45 p.m. Friday to 5 a.m. Monday. What do we got? Jamaica Center-bound E trains will be skipping 75th Avenue and Briarwood due to signal modernization. All I'm going to say is that if you can get to the next stop after Briarwood, just take the next westbound train at Jamaica Van Wyck. That's all I'm going to recommend. And if you need service to 75th Avenue, please just get off at Kew Gardens, Union Turnpike, and walk. Honestly, that's the best thing I can recommend you do. And I mentioned it before, I'm going to say it again. It's only about a 5 to 8 minute walk if you're coming from the westbound entrance from Kew Gardens Union Turnpike. So honestly, it will not be that bad. And this is why I'm relieved I don't go into Manhattan on the weekends, because this is just too stressful to deal with. It really would be. If I was that desperate to go into the city this weekend, I would honestly just take the 7. I would. I'm just saying, I would if I was that desperate, but I'm just here letting you all know this information. So what's going on with the F? 9:45 p.m. Friday until 5 a.m. Monday. Coney Island Stillwell Avenue bound F trains will be rerouted via the E from Roosevelt Avenue to 42nd Street Port Authority. Then via the A, I did this in the last slide, but I figured I'll carry it to this one so that way I can clarify it with everybody. Jamaica bound F trains will be rerouted via the E from 4750 Street Rockefeller Center to Queensboro Plaza due to the signal improvements. So just remember, E and the F will be impacted due to the signal improvement project. E trains are going to be rerouted via the F between 21st Street Queensbridge and 34th Street Herald Square. That's pretty interesting, to say the least. So, this is what I can do right now. If you need to get to World Trade this weekend, just take the F. Alright? Just take the F. And if you need service to World Trade, if you can, just take the A or the C train. There are a few stops right near World Trade, so I'll just clarify that point right now. With regard to Jamaica-bound F trains via running the E, all I'm just going to say is that if you can get to Herald Square, just connect with the E train. And if you need service to Queensbridge, just take the E this weekend. You can use the E, D, or local A train, C, or Jamaica-bound F to complete your trip. Transfer at Roosevelt Avenue, 34th Street, Herald Square, West 4th Street, or J Street Metro Tech in Brooklyn. Now that we got that out of the way, we are going to discuss another headache for moviegoers, and it seems the MTA always plans this when there are big theatrical movie releases, because this weekend Disney is releasing the live-action Winnie the Pooh movie called Christopher Robin. But I like to call it the live-action Winnie the Pooh movie because it's live-action. Just a quick recap, Edward McGregor, you might know him. He played Obi-Wan Kenobi in Star Wars Episodes 1 to 3. Will be playing the role of Christopher Robin. So anyhow, how does this entail to a story of subway riders? Well, one thing's for sure, they're going to have a difficult time getting to the movie theater this weekend. 3:45 a.m. Saturday until 10 p.m. Sunday, August 4th and the 5th. Free shuttle buses are going to be replacing N trains between the usual hotspots Ditmars Boulevard and Queensboro Plaza due to track replacement. N's will still run between Queensboro Plaza and 36th Street, Brooklyn, and then via the D to Stillwell Avenue. Free shuttle buses will make all local end stops between Ditmars Boulevard and Queensboro Plaza. Transfer between trains and buses at Queensboro Plaza. So as long as you have your Metro card, you will be fine. Just remember to have it and you will be along your way. But if you do need to get to the movie theater in Astoria, just remember the buses are the way to go this weekend. I know there are people that have bought advance tickets because this movie was, of course, highly anticipated. Honestly, one of the last highly anticipated movies of the summer. People already got tickets and they're wondering, well, there's no subway service. They always do this whenever there is a big theatrical release. Well, unfortunately, that's how it's gone most of the summer because the MTA just honestly doesn't care about the film industry. I have a conspiracy that maybe Joe Loda's doing this because maybe he just doesn't like Disney. I've noticed this trend when Disney somehow has a big release, Infinity War, Incredibles 2. You can go on and on and on. I have a theory that Joe Loda hates Disney. I know it's my paranoia, and I'm sorry for making it personal, but they shouldn't be doing this on big theatrical releases. They've been promoting this movie for months. I really hate making it personal, but what are you going to do? And then here's another problem with regards to people going to the Jamaica movie theater this weekend. The Jams Festival will cause headaches on the Q30 and Q31. So what do we have? Due to the Jamaica Arts and Music Summer Festival, the New York City Department of Transportation has issued a detour for the Q30, Q31 buses that will be taking place this Saturday, August 4th. The detour will take place between 5:30 a.m. to 9 p.m. Here's how the detour will work for northbound buses. This is pretty much simple. The bus will be going on Archer Avenue into 93rd Street. Archer Avenue into 93rd Avenue, Once the bus is on 93rd Avenue, and I mapped this out correctly because now I'm clarifying it. From 93rd Avenue, the bus will make a left on 170th Street and then continue to its regular route, left on Hillside Avenue, and then right on Homeland Street. Here's how it's going to work for southwestbound service. The bus will go on its regular run to Hillside Avenue and Homeland Street. Then, the bus will be making a right on Hillside Avenue, left on Merrick Boulevard, right on Archer Avenue, right on Suffolk Boulevard, left on Jamaica Avenue, then via its regular route. Alright everyone, so I hope you all pretty much figured out what was going on with regards to what's taking place this weekend. If you need service south and westbound to the movie theater, just get off at Archer and Parsons, aka Jamaica Center, and you will be on your way to the movie theater. So, with regards to people coming from northbound, you will not be impacted. You can still get off at the regular bus stop. If you need subway service via the E this weekend, as I just mentioned before, you can get off at Archer and Parsons, and you should be able to connect for subway service along with the J train. That's pretty much going to wrap up the slideshow for this week. Now we will go to big headaches on the Long Island Railroad. Unfortunately, Ronkonkoma riders, your summer of hell will continue. You're not reading this wrong. You don't need glasses. You don't need contacts. Well, sorry to offend those people, but yep, you're reading it correctly. There's going to be prostitution on the Ronkonkoma branch this weekend. So here's how it's going to work. The prostitution will replace weekend trains between Ronkonkoma and Hicksville this Saturday, August 4th, and Sunday, August 5th, due to the double track project. And yet again, this is what I mean, Joe Loda does not like Disney. It's proof right here. He is blatantly going against whenever Disney has a big theatrical release. Trust me, we have more Disney films coming out later this year. He better not do this in the fall. Especially on Christmas when Mary Poppins comes out. But anyhow, 4 early morning trains on Monday morning, 2 eastbound, 2 westbound, will also be replaced by buses Monday morning, August 6th. Here's how it's going to look. Westbound. Customers at stations Ronkonkoma through Bethpage will board buses up to 45 minutes earlier than normal times. At Hicksville, customers will transfer to westbound trains. Customers at stations Greenpoint through Medford will board the buses at Ronkonkoma and then ride them to Hicksville, where train service will resume. Customers will arrive at Western terminals approximately 1 hour later than normal. Here's how eastbound's going to look. Customers who are traveling to stations Bethpage through Ronkonkoma will transfer to buses at Hicksville. Please plan for up to an additional 46 minutes of added travel time. Departure times for trains that provide connecting service to Greenpoint have been adjusted. Alright, and then you have this over here. Pretty much the typical service changes right here with regards to specific trains. And I'm going to say this again. Please go on the Long Island Railroad's website where they will... I don't really have to read this out for you that much, but... yeah, let's look at this for a sec. Monday morning, August 6th. Customers normally take the 12:44 a.m. and 1:45 a.m. trains from Ronkonkoma to Penn will board the buses departing up to 45 minutes earlier than normal train times, then connect with westbound service at Hicksville. Customers who take the 12:14 a.m. and 1:11 a.m. trains from Penn to Ronkonkoma will transfer to buses at Hicksville. So, pretty much, this is only going to be overnight with regards to early morning service on Monday, August 6th. On-peak service between 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. between Ronkonkoma and Hicksville will resume at that time, of course. So you have your normal on-peak service. You will be expecting regular on-peak service. So if you want to get a special Ronkonkoma branch track work timetable, please pick it up at your station. Or again, please go on the Long Island Railroad's website. Keeping in mind, unfortunately, we got bad news, and I'm going to highlight this part because this is very, very important. This work will last the entire month. Yep, I'm not joking. I'm not joking. See why I highlighted this? See why I highlighted this? And not to mention, I think there was another movie coming out on the weekend of August 24th. I forget the name of it right now, but once again, it's not just Disney. Joe Lota really has it out for the film industry. He doesn't want you going to Deer Park if you're in between those stations, huh? What a disgrace Joe Lota is, huh? What does he have against the film industry? I don't get it. Let's talk about this next headache. On the Atlantic line again. No late night service between Atlantic Terminal and Jamaica. So I pretty much talked about this last weekend. I don't really want to talk about it again. I'm just going to let you all know right now that there's no late night service between Brooklyn and Jamaica this weekend. And more importantly, I'm going to say this again, and I'm sorry for talking about this. I found out that this work will go on for one more weekend, and then after this, pretty much there will be regular service back on the Atlantic line on the weekend of August 17th. So please remember that. I mentioned this again. I'm going to clarify it to make it easier. Atlantic Terminal customers can board Manhattan-bound 2 and 3 trains to 34th Street Penn for eastbound Long Island Railroad service to Jamaica. Nostrand Avenue customers can board a Manhattan-bound A train at the Nostrand Avenue subway stop and then transfer to 34th Street Penn. East New York customers can walk north on Fanshawe Avenue and the Broadway Junction subway stop and then take the A train. So, all I'm just going to say right now is you have the 2 and 3 train available via the E train. So, they tell you to, of course, I'm going to say this again. I'm going to say this one more time. If you take a westbound train to Penn, you can connect for the 2 and the 3 train. So that's very good news. I just wanted to clarify that. So, pretty much another headache in Brooklyn. I feel bad for those people that want to head out east into the island for the weekend. I know it stinks that you have to go through Jamaica and then go westbound to Penn Station and connect for subway service. But this is what happens when you have track work and PTC. And this is going to happen for one more weekend. And then lastly, we'll just talk about the Port Washington service. Saturday, August 4th between 7 a.m. and noon, and on Saturday, August 5th between 7 a.m. and 9 a.m. Train service between Penn and Port Washington will be reduced from half-hourly to hourly to accommodate PTC track work between Woodside and Bayside. So pretty much all I can say is that the good news is train service to Metzwolds Point will not be impacted, but I will remind everybody again, please prepare for temporary platforms at Woodside this weekend. It's possible that we've seen what's happened this year with regards to how they screwed people during Herald interlocking, but the MTA can always come up with an excuse and say, sorry, we're putting temporary platforms at Woodside, Kew Gardens, and Forest Hills, so please just be prepared for any random temporary platforms to show up. I quickly want to mention that the similar PTC work for the month of August will also take place pretty much all of the weekends for this month, August 11th, 12th, 18th, 19th, 25th, 26th. All I can say is that the Long Island Railroad's somewhat being considerate for Labor Day weekend, because remember, we have the new schedule starting on Tuesday, September 4th. So I just want to quickly remind everybody about that as well. I know it's only a month in advance, but keeping in mind the last schedule change started on Saturday, July 21st. So that's pretty much going to wrap it up for this week's service changes video. All I'm just going to say, if you are traveling this weekend, just plan extra time. If you're going to Deer Park this weekend, my condolences to you, because I know many people, again, were looking forward to this Christopher Robin release, but once again, Joe Loda doesn't care about movies. I think it's just clear that he doesn't want anything to do with the film industry. So that's pretty much going to wrap it up. Thank you for watching. Until the next one, take care.